Well, we just got the ding. Low diesel, which means we're going to have to start caring about some of this little mess. I've done a small amount of work in between episodes, so I guess we can catch up. Hello, everybody. This is Frogman. Welcome back to Captain of Industry. This is always and was going to be temporary, mainly because of the fact diesel generators tend to chew through power quite a lot, and we've managed to, well, accumulate some more science, stuff that we can do. First thing, of course, was maintenance depot number 2. If you're wondering why you can't keep up with your maintenance once you get to a certain point, you need to convert over from the original one, which is, I believe, this one, into this particular depot, because this depot, I do believe, can make either double or quadruple what the original one can make. So we went ahead and stuck that in over here. I upgraded where it was. I believe I upgraded where it was. No, we haven't even gotten to that point. Well, we can go ahead and do that right now. If it's just going to say, if you're wondering why you can't manage to keep up with your stuff, that's why. So this one currently can make 220 maintenance, and by the time we get done with this, we'll see if it loses a lot. It definitely goes down while it's upgrading. That went down to 40, so we're now under, but this will be able to produce, yeah, quite a bit more. We're going to be fine there. I've got our, whatever these things are called, I've got the mechanical parts up and doubled up on some Unity, just because when we had a problem over here, we ran out of iron plates because I was not thinking about how my iron plates were being produced very well. So now we've doubled up on production, at least for right now. But again, this is the story of Captain of Industry, and this is the story of pretty much every factory building game that you're probably ever going to play, is that you're going to continuously refactor and refactor and refactor until you're just tired of it. So at least with this is scalable. Once I rip out and move the copper back down or out of the way, this, if I grab it about right here, something about like this, I think if I do just about like that, right, then this will scale, and all I have to do is plug it down right next to the one before it and connect the belts, and it will just continue to work, and you just keep doing that. I didn't get the whole thing. So yes, I know, low diesel, we're going to be sucking for a little bit. We have way too many trucks, but we have a lot of trucks that aren't doing anything. The other thing I'm going to say that I did is we started to work on certain things like a so. Why are you not working? Oh, because I set you to slag. I need to set you to what is this one? Slag crushed. You're supposed to be making this into gravel, into manufactured sand. Okay, I'm doing these little things here. Slag's a free way of being able to get aggregate for your concrete when you get ready to start making concrete. Plus, it's another thing that you can do with later on. And of course, gravel. I know what's coming, so I want to be using manufactured sand for any of my sand needs until it becomes time that we absolutely have to start digging into that pile of sand, because sand is well, it's just like, iron and copper and coal. It is a finite resource, and it will eventually go away. You'll have to find ways of making it. And we're also cleaning up our trash very, very, very slowly, mainly because I'm being a fool. I don't have a separate plant for it. I'm just sending a truck over here to dump it into the burner incinerator thing. As we can see right now, trash is coming over here and being taken care of. Food. We have an entire loose storage full of this, and we are slowly filling up our vegetables. I figured out what the problem was and why this was not filling for whatever reason. I had this unit storage backwards, and I have no idea. It's one of the lovely things about the game is it does tend to do that to you. We ran a pipe from here over to the copper, got rid of that tank, and ran another belt or conveyor all the way over to here, so that we are now at least trying to shorten up drives between here and there. The next obvious step for this actually is going to be building conveyors up and over this area that will then come over and connect into the two locations where they need to connect. But, these trucks do need to have something to do. We have 61 of them at this point. Again, this is going to be one of those things. We're going to be moving this plant over here fairly soon, probably about any time now. I can probably start to work on it and get it moved over here. So the fact that it is behind this is not a big deal. We're going to start working on the actual concrete recipe that I want, but I needed to get a water line kind of this direction, and then I have to figure out exactly where I want concrete. So We do have plenty of housing now. We're working on getting quite a few extra people in here, and I'm going to start running this way so that we can start demolishing these houses and moving things over. So like this right here, now that it's sitting right here, will likely, can I copy this, get installed somewhere like over here so that it'll just take care of this little corner. I think we could probably get it about right there if I wanted to. And then this trash will likely get stuck back here in the corner by this once we get everything cleaned up. Water's working fine. The fuel, we have problems with fuel. The problems with fuel is we're not going to be able to continue to keep up with this consumption right here. Now, before I do anything else, I want to point something out here right now. We are currently locked behind a technology, so like all of these red little things, we're locked behind a technology that we can't get to because we either need ocean drilling, or we need cargo ship technology, or we need the lab for this or that or whatever. And what that means is we have to go do two things. In order to be able to get this to where it actually functions, we need these to stop burning our diesel fuel. And if such, I have prepared a little thing over here in the corner to try to see if we can't make it work. Now, one of the things we got a while back, or at least last time around, was we got the power consumption system thing for the other way. The actual power plant, the way that you're probably going to make power for quite a long time, unless you can manage to keep up with the oil and diesel production as the way that it goes. So in of that, we unlocked, where is this? Let's get over here in power generation. Click on this. Power generation allows you to unlock boilers, high pressure turbines, power generators, and flywheels. And about all of this kind of stuff, it basically just gives you the opportunity to burn coal for power instead of diesel for power. And what's really funny about this particular thing, this is how you're going to power your base for probably the majority of the game until you get to the point where you can actually unlock nuclear and get nuclear going. So this is one of those things you're going to be playing with it an awful lot. So I've done and set up a little bit of just a little bit of a power plant here. Let's close a few things and put this on slow mode so that we don't waste any more diesel. This is going to basically be a water plant that is then going to output steam into a small system. So we're going to take again, another one of these that is going to, we're going to take another one of these the basic distillers set up, take 36 whatever water and plumb it into a boiler, which unfortunately at this point we're likely going to have to probably double up on this, but I'm not expecting this to need much more help, especially because if I really need to, I'll probably just go grab a little bit of water from here and plumb it into this system. Did I plug that in right? Yes, I'm still missing one thing right there. We're going to do that right there for now. We do have quite a few chimneys. Anyhow, we're going to take coal and we're going to burn coal in a boiler as well as in a desalinator or distiller to make water that will then produce a byproduct of the brine that we're not going to use, that'll then get pumped into a boiler that will make, with coal, some steam and a little bit of exhaust that will then get pumped into a couple of high pressure turbines that will then turn as many of these as we can, or many of the generators as we can. High pressure turbines take X amount of steam and turn it into X amount of megawatt power, or meaning mechanical power, and then exhaust a low pressure steam. And what we are going to do is I'm going to hit this auto balance button right here, and I'm going to hit this auto balance button right here for now, just because it helps out. Now, each one of these little bitty, right now we're probably not going to worry about it, but each one of these little bitty generators, these little, whatever they're calling these things, I'm assuming they're alternators or whatever, can take 3 of that mechanical power here and turn it into 2 megawatts of actual power. So as we said here, you got 2, 4, 6, 8 megawatts of power sitting in this one little system compared to one of these guys, which they make 800 kilowatts. So we're going to more than double the power of what we have based off of a couple of these things. Now, the other thing I am going to do, if I have the materials to do it, because this is going to get pretty expensive, is we're also going to put in some stuff. There's some automation in here. When I said auto balance is enabling you to be able to use momentum to be able to run things and save on resources. Now, we don't have the one thing that maintains the momentum installed, which is going to be a flywheel. Flywheels are kind of expensive at this point, but we're going to do at least one. Now, one thing I will say again here is you need to pay attention to a couple of things. Everything here has an output or an input. If we look at it here, we've got arrows. As we've seen several times, I've managed to screw this up, especially with our storages. So what we do here is you have to pay attention to this. When you're plugging these things in, and that includes these as well, you want to make sure that the input from here, so that red output thing right there, is plugged into the input of this generator, which is then plugged into the input of that. So I'm going to go ahead and place one of those down, and this is going to get set to a build priority of like a 14. Everything else here, we're actually going to do 2 of those because you kind of want to use as much as you can. Essentially what's going to happen is these 2 turbines are going to spin up the system. They're going to spin up and start producing power. And because we have these over here set to priority of 5, what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to say, you're going to be priority 1, you're going to be priority 2, you're going to be priority 3, and you're going to be priority 4. So they're all going to be under all of this. All of these guys. They're all going to be underneath of that, which means it will light that one first, then that one all the way across. But the first thing it is going to do is once we get all this built, and if we have enough space, I will have them build one of these flywheels. These will spin those up. The flywheels will start spinning, and that will allow us to contain momentum, which will then allow the turbines to shut off. So let's do the first thing, which is build the water plant. And that's going to take all of you to get turned on. Go. And then we kick her back on high. Well, medium. As far as everything else goes, I believe we haven't done anything special. And as soon as we get this running, then we're going to fix this ship because we desperately need it to go out and do stuff. We should be good. You guys are going to fill that completely with coal because coal is going to be our lifeblood forever and ever. Import route, go. And you are actually going to get a... I'm going to give that one another truck. Actually, no. You're going to get your own truck. You do your own work. You get your very own truck to maintain that little thing. That way there's only one thing dealing with the problem all the time. So we're going to let that run. We're going to fill this up. So they're going to bring us a bunch of this. And as soon as you fill up full of water and do your job... Why do I feel like that's pointed the wrong way? Okay, it did work. Good. So we're going to let that fill up full of water, and then we're going to... Well, I guess we can okay all of this, and I can just pause that. Yeah, let's go ahead and okay as much of this as we can. That hurt a little bit on those. So pause, unpause, unpause, unpause all of the piping, and one of those, that, this, and those 2. Guess we can do all of them. There, we got a turbine ready to go. They should be able to build all of these as we go. We're out of the yellow stuff now, but I think we can get at least some of that turned on and running. Okay. You're going to be able to add a little more to that, maybe? Can we get one more going? No, you're going to do the work over there. You can get that going. Nice. I just want to see if we can at least get most of those generators up and moving. Or at least a couple of them. How much do you need left? All right, cool. So then we're going to out-click on that, and you get unpaused and go to work. It'll fill up full of coal, fill up full of water. It will burn a little bit of stuff, which will then put steam in this pipe, which will get fed into these turbines. I hope I got it pointed the right direction. There we go. And for now, this is our technology. For now, this is how we're going to have to do things. So, um, as those spin up, as we get a little bit of more parts going on here, these will be able to run, as we can see right now, to produce about 2 megawatts of power. These will both sit there and kind of screw around. But because we're down on whatever we're doing, I guess everything caught up, now we're not using these anymore. So I am going to, while I look at it, I only want to keep, for the moment, 2 of these. Come here. You all go away. All of you. Goodbye. Then you guys can pick all that stuff up and put it away. And then as these little parts come in, we should be good to go. So I'm going to let this run a little bit while it builds various things. I probably should have had it build these instead of those, you know, but it's fine. We'll be okay. Yeah, I probably should have. It's all right, though. We got lots of nice stuff. Do I have plenty of room over here to just kick that on and get it into gear? Yes, I do. Why don't you get a little bit of a boost real quick there, my friend, and make parts? As soon as we can get that going, then what we're going to do is we're going to fix that thing. Yeah, prior planning on my part would have been to make one of these and one of those so that they could spin, but because of the way I end up doing these, they end up kind of silly. So it is fine. It's okay. That should have built that one. All right, nice. And we are short on more of the stuff. So as those come in, we'll just build them. Alrighty, so now we have a flywheel kick in, and that flywheel, what it's going to do is it's going to accept as much power out of these turbines as it possibly can. So we're going to see them spin up to max megawatt power capability so that they can then spin that flywheel up to as high of wherever it can. And if we have these little accumulated power inertia thingies, and basically what we want to do is we want to make sure it's set to auto balance, so that what those turbines are going to do is they're going to inject the power into that into this flywheel and then shut off. As we see, they're off. So now this flywheel is going to sit there and run and take care of the generation of power as we need to and save us on some fuel and some water, because theoretically, like I said, this little plant should not be able to produce enough water to make this boiler function long enough to keep these things running if it was running at full throttle all the time. So once we get another 40 of these, well, 40 of these regular, I guess we can just go ahead and hit it. Go ahead and do it, guys. Get the building on that one too. Once they get that built up, then we'll have double the amount of inertia ready to be used whenever, which means it will last again longer. It'll spin these and do whatever. And of course, again, like these have a little bit of information to them as well. It's a kind of a neat little system, and it can be made to be a lot better once we get a little bit better technology. But at least now we have once they get that done, we have a better power plant that is standalone, that is not running off of anything that we're going to run out of anytime soon, i.e. oil. Boink. Cool. Now, so we have a bunch of accumulated stored power that they'll be able to slowly use up, and as this needs, so like they're going to spin up again, you get to catch them spin up and they do the work. They're going to add power into the system, run for a little while, and then stop, and then run for a little while, and then stop, which is very, very, very cool. I like it. It's a very well thought out power system, especially when you get into the later end of things, when we get to be a lot more efficient with it. So with that being said, that also means we can now stop worrying about this, because I was getting a little concerned. We are, or were, under half about, I don't know, however many years ago. I think about at 50. So at 50, we were at about half, and we've been chewing through a fair amount of our oil. Now, our oil is going to be something we're going to have to care about, but at least now we're eating the diesel based off of things around in the area instead of these generators. These generators chew through diesel. So as we do a little bit more work, we'll be fine. Now, there are opportunities for other goofiness stuff that I've never done, and I guess I could say that as far as things go. Where is that? Biofuel. I do believe So we got an anaerobic digester that can turn that into that, which we don't care for. High pressure. Let me see. Let's click on the thing over here just for fun before we worry about that ship. Biofuel. I don't think we've gotten that yet, do we? I thought I turned that on. Hang on a minute. I thought we researched biofuel. Right, so that should give us the cracking unit, and it should give us an air separator. Cracking unit. Cracking unit's supposed to be here, I thought. Cracking unit I thought was under... Huh. Yeah, okay, so I understand how that system works. So essentially what we're looking at now is we're looking at trying to make diesel, pull this over here, via either the basic distiller or the cracking unit recipe, which we've been authorized to have, which takes fuel gas and oxygen. Fuel gas currently can be got from an anaerobic digester digesting either excess potatoes or vegetables, which will turn that into there, and compost, which we can throw away. How much does that per... I'm not going to plan on doing it right now, but it's 14 of those over 60 seconds makes fuel gas, makes 8. And that can go into... That's an awful lot of potatoes. That's an awful lot of potatoes to be putting through something just to get a little bit of diesel. So it's kind of one of the reasons why I don't. And we could have probably been doing a little bit better by now, but once it fills that tank back up and we're done doing things, we should be okay for a little bit. So the problem is, the solution to our problem with our oil is the fact that we currently do not have what we need in order to be able to make things work. So the next step, of course, is we need to repair the shipyard with 100 of those. So go ahead and do it, kids. And there we go. Getting the upgrade ready to go. Basically what it's going to do is it's going to make it look like it's nice and brand new. Hey, there we go. Cool. So, first thing first, of course, we're going to do something rather stupid, which is we're going to take a chunk of our fuel and plug it in right there. Except I'm going to keep you probably about there. And I want you to import from... I think they can reach that. We'll see. No, I didn't figure so. Awesome. Well, then that should be able to reach that. Probably because I have it shut off. No, I don't. Interesting. I would figure they could reach that. I mean, this game sometimes really amazes me at how certain things work and certain things don't. Like, they can reach from clear the heck over here, but something like this, they can't reach it. Can I sign a truck, maybe? Hey, truck. Somebody gonna come get some diesel and bring it over there, please. Why did it do that? No, I said full. Whatever, we'll just do that, it's fine. Here they come. Okay, well, maybe I was being a little too lazy. I don't know. We'll see. We'll just leave it like that for right now. Again, this whole section over here... Wait. This is all going to be temporary fairly soon. As soon as this thing can get places, we're going to also set it to auto repair. And go ahead and crew with 15 people for now. And here comes the incredibly boring part of the game, the other incredibly boring part of the game, although they have changed it. This is one of those things that I do kind of wish they would work on, is the mini game that is this thing. This is a fun little toy. It's a neat little thing. We get to go out and explore, but it definitely is something I wish they would, I don't know, make better. Let's start by going that way. And essentially what the thing is that ship is going to take off and head that direction and go see what it is. And because this map is the way that this map is, it's kind of just blah. And it's going to take him a while because he's fairly slow. Now, we will be using the living heck out of that thing here in just a little bit because we need to find some stuff. We need to... excuse me, we need to find the unlockment for the ocean drilling technology and the cargo ship technology so that we can actually move forward with the next part of the game. And, well, all of the little food thingies that we can tend to find too. So for now, what we're going to do while that's gone is I'm going to figure out where we're going to do concrete in a reasonable fashion out of the way. Maybe we build that over here.